For the Next Take podcast episode 69 with Mikel
and Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So, uh, today's episode, I don't know what we're talking about. I'm playing. But I'll leave that up to Tanyka. So what are we talking about, Tanyka?
Okay, so we're going to be talking about space, and we'll kind of talk about what exactly that is. Just one topic this time. And then we are going to be talking about, well, something that happened in court, virtual court. I'm going to say that's all I'm saying because the punchline is going to be saved until we talk about it. And then we are going to be talking about updated graduation requirements. And I'm not sure if it's all of Canada, but at least in Ontario, because I'm not sure if graduation requirements are federal or provincial, but we're going to be talking about that.
Okay. All right. Let's
Okay.
get to these topics.
All right. So Jupiter has, I believe, another moon going on. And it's called Europa, which is its fourth largest moon. So where it is, so it's about 417,000 miles or 671,000 kilometers from Jupiter and 500 million miles, 805 million kilometers from the sun. So why it's kind of special. So it's slightly smaller than Earth's moon, which I didn't know if our moon is considered large, but whatever. It's slightly smaller. Europa is more like a planet, actually. So it has a magnetic field, a tenuous oxygen atmosphere, and a liquid iron core. So I guess those are all things that kind of make a planet. It also has an icy shell, and it's about, I'm just going to use kilometers at this point because that I understand, 18 kilometers thick that hides a salty ocean beneath. So that's kind of cool, actually. So if you're wondering if the salty ocean can bubble through the ice, it can. This was suggested by a newly published image of Europa returned to Earth by NASA's Juno spacecraft, which has been orbiting Jupiter since 2016. So I do have a picture of the Earth, so I will post it. So the black, or the planet, did I say moon? Moon. The black and white image taken of Europa's night side when it was lit only with light reflected by Jupiter, so not the sun, but Jupiter, shows a feature nicknamed the platypus. So I think that's like the main thing we're talking here is actually it looks like a platypus on the surface of the moon, which, I mean, all I can think about is Phineas and Ferb platypus, and it doesn't look like that. But anyways, so it's in a yellow box, which I don't see a yellow box. Can you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Send me a picture. See,
It's actually not even. I have a picture here, but it's not. I don't see like a yellow box, but I'll send it and you can see if you can see it, because I don't. Anyway, so measuring about 23 miles by 42 miles, the chaos terrain contains hummocks, ridges, ice blocks, and dark reddish-brown material. It's the youngest feature in the region imaged, and scientists suspect it's where Europa's ice shell allows pockets of salt water from the moon's subterranean ocean to pool. So about 50 kilometers above the platypus is a double ridge running east-west with possible stains around it. It's thought these stains could be deposits from plumes of salt water rising up to the surface
Right.
of Europa's ocean. So
Mhm.
Juno's mission is actually ending in 2025, so sometime this year.
Right.
But two more missions are bound for Europa. NASA's
Mhm.
Europa Clipper will launch later this year. So this year meaning 2024. So it's already happened. Um, and will arrive there in 2030.
Okay.
2030. It's nuts. Meanwhile, the European Space Agency's slower JUICE, which is Jupiter Ice Moons Explorer, that's what it stands for,
Mhm.
launched in 2023 and will arrive in 2031 to tour three of Jupiter's moons, which is Ganymede, Callisto, and Europa.
Mhm. Mm.
So actually, I do have the image, the better image. Let me show that to you. And I'll keep this image because they actually show
Right. Okay.
the yellow box with the platypus and then blue box with the deposits that I was talking about. So I'll
Mhm.
send that to you and I will hold on to that as well so everyone else can see. So that's that topic. So let's go into the next topic, which this is the funny topic. And this has to do with virtual court. So let's get into it. So when Corey Harris of Ann Arbor, Michigan, joined a virtual court hearing over his suspended license, the district judge was left speechless because the defendant, who has a suspended license, was clearly driving a car while doing so. What is happening? And I'm sorry, I'm allowed to say this because I'm black, but it's always black men who do this. And I'm just like, you're not thinking. You have a suspended license and you're driving.
So he drove with a suspended license.
Hmm.
Uh,
And he was in virtual court with a suspended license while driving a car. Like,
oh,
yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
was
So he was
for
on his basically he was on his phone or whatever,
he
or
was on his phone.
and then okay, I see.
Yes. And he's in virtual court
Mhm.
about his suspended license while driving on said suspended license. So,
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. Well, I'm not surprised that there's people out there that still drive with a suspended license out there.
oh yeah, I've known people who
But
not so much
what-
driven with suspended licenses,
yeah,
but actually no, that's not true. I did know someone who drove with a suspended license.
yeah.
But I've known people who drive on like without a license
Mhm.
or only driving on a G1 license when they're not supposed to be driving by themselves on a G1 license
Can
back in
you
the
can
day.
you can you still get caught by doing that? Like if you have a G1 and you still driving like
Absolutely, because if you were to get pulled over
yeah.
and you have to show your license and registration and you're showing a G1 license, especially if you're driving within the restricted hours, you're screwed. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that that would happen when you pull over and you need to show your license, and then it says you only have your G1,
Mhm.
and then the police is like, this is your G1. You can't drive this far or drive in the highway. Blah blah blah. Where's
You
your
can drive on the highway. You can drive by yourself.
yes?
If you have a G2, I mean, yes, you can drive by yourself,
Mhm.
but that still, I don't know if you once you are old enough, like they having to
Yeah,
waive some of those
yeah,
restrictions.
yeah.
But also if you're old enough, older, like you're not a teenager, you can
Mhm.
fast track those processes anyway.
Mhm.
But it like from G2 anyways to your G full G.
Right.
But
Okay.
it with a G2 back in the day, you couldn't drive between the hours of midnight and 5 a.m. even if you were allowed to drive by yourself on a G2 license. So
And they took that off, right? They took
no,
that policy. Oh, it's still
no.
on
As
G2?
far as I know, it's still on because my brother was more
Um,
recent. And so,
so, oh,
but
wow.
if you are, I think if you are over the age of like I think it's 25,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you have a G2, then some restrictions will be lifted, and I think that will be one of them.
Right.
But if you're under that age, going through the process of getting your license, then
Mhm.
those restrictions all apply. Yeah. And G1, like straight up, you cannot drive by yourself. You have to
Mm.
drive with a licensed driver
That's interesting.
and a full licensed driver, like a G licensed driver,
And
not, yeah.
so you can't drive. That's hmm. And then from your G1, you have to wait like for 6 months to get your G2, right? Is that a
Um,
you can
no,
get it right away?
no. So if you are going through a reputable
Hmm.
school,
Hmm.
so, and I'm not even sure if Best Choice is included in it, but I think it is. So either
Hmm.
Best Choice or Young Drivers,
Hmm.
you can get it after 8 months. But if you're doing it without going through a school, you have to
Hmm.
wait a year.
Right.
Yeah, from between G1 and G2. And
Mm.
then between G2 and G, it's, I believe, a year.
Huh. Interesting.
I
Okay.
believe it's a year, yeah.
Okay.
It's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure it's a year.
I wonder if that's changed. I don't know.
It's hard for me
It,
to say just because
what?
my
Your brother?
brother, yeah,
Okay.
but he with COVID and everything, because he had
Mm-hmm.
gotten his G1
Mm-hmm.
in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
July of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So with him, a lot was delayed because of COVID.
Right.
So he had to wait a little longer to even get his G2. And then it was a
Mm.
longer process again after that before he got his G. So it's hard for me to say. And even with me, I did I think the 8 months between G and G2, G1 and G2.
You too,
But
yeah.
when doing G2 to full G,
Uh-huh.
even me, I had waited. I was right at that deadline because you only have 5 years
Mm-hmm.
to do everything. And then if you don't do it, you have to start over.
Mm-hmm.
So I was right
Right.
at that deadline.
And
So,
how long's the school training? Like, how long's like, on the
so
training?
you have to do like class, like an actual like sitting in a classroom,
Hmm.
and then you have to do the car, like in the car.
Yeah.
So the classes themselves take about 2 weeks, I believe. Again, it's been a
Mm-hmm.
really long time I did in high school, but I believe it was 2 weeks.
Hmm.
And then in the car, it's 17 classes in the car. So that can be spread out as much as you want it to be, honestly. So
Okay.
it could be you can get that done in a couple of months. It can take a
Hmm.
few months. And then through young, because I did through young drivers, my mom wouldn't have done anything different for me. But with young drivers, which is obviously a lot more expensive, they're hugely recognized and a reputable company.
Hmm.
Um, they offer you more classes. So
Mm.
I did at least the first time I did my first, because I failed like 3 times before I got my full G. I did the first time through the school. So you can get more lessons after the 17, but you need the 17 in order to get your G2.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting.
But again, that's here in Canada. I don't know what happens in the States, but
Well,
um,
yeah, 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 yeah. What's one more question before
mhm.
we move on to what's the fee for, like, is it higher than, like, $100, or is it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The initial, and this is again back, you know,
Mhm.
15 or so years ago.
Mhm.
The initial price for me to have gotten my lessons through Young Drivers, my mom
Mhm.
paid $1,000. A
$1,000 for
thousand
that?
dollars. Yep.
And there's
hmm
cheaper ones, right? There's
Best
cheaper.
choice is cheaper, but again, you're getting what you pay for. That's all I'm
Mm.
gonna say. You're getting what you pay for because, like, with young drivers, the in-car classes are one-on-one. Whereas Best Choice, I mean, I think you can get one-on-one, But
Mm.
a lot of times I think people have done it with three other people, which you're not really getting proper training with that. But
Yeah, I would rather do it one on one than
exactly.
three other.
Again,
Like
I don't know
that's
if
nerve
that's
that's
true.
that's nervous.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. It's like when you're learning for the first time,
Yeah,
it you kind of need that one-on-one.
yeah.
But um,
You need a focus.
mhm.
Right?
But again, the ministry as well recognizes young drivers. They don't recognize best choice.
Yeah.
So like if
Okay.
you were to sit like in the ministry of transportation waiting to get your stuff, you constantly you're seeing ads for young drivers.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah. But
Interesting.
best choice is not the only one. There's other in like independently run companies as well.
Right.
There's many. There's a lot. But yeah, it's about $1,000. And again, that's the initial. My mom paid more for me and probably my
Yes.
brother as well. After getting our G2. So
Wow.
it's not cheap. But
Okay. I see. Interesting. Okay.
okay, so when Judge Cedric Simpson called the case, Harris joined via Zoom and was visibly in the process of driving.
Mm.
Judge said, "Mr. Harris, are you driving?" And he responded with, "Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office."
Hmm.
Which doesn't make it any better because that means you're driving. Um, with his eyes were visibly on the road, and he's like, "Just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now."
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
stupid. The trial was on May 15th of 2024, but the live stream video clip has since gone viral on social media. The courtroom fell silent after Harris's confession that he was indeed driving. Simpson, who is the judge, incredulous, looked out into the courtroom with a smile. And he came back with, "You stationary?"
Mm.
Oh my God. And he
Wow.
says, "Yes, I am. I'm pulling in right now." He replied enthusiastically. Okay. He doesn't even get it. Harris's public defender then asked for the court for permission to adjourn
Hmm.
for up to 4 weeks. Doesn't make a difference. Everything is here.
So did he get like another charge?
Oh, we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's keep reading.
Yeah.
Awkward silence followed. Then Simpson asked the defense for clarification, and he said, "Okay, maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while a license is suspended, and he was just driving, and he didn't have a license."
Hmm.
This is what the judge said. The public defender confirmed the charges. Simpson produced a printout of Harris's record, which states the defendant does not currently have a legal driver's license. Harris sat in his car and watched as Simpson remained dumbfounded.
Oh.
And Harris said, I don't even know why he would, oh no, sorry, the judge said, "I don't even know why he would do that," before revoking Harris's bond. So guess what, guys? He has to go to prison. He told Harris to turn himself into the local country jail or
Mhm.
by 6 p.m. that evening. Harris tilted his head back over the driver's seat, let out an exacerbated, "Oh my God, why are you driving?" It's so stupid.
Yeah.
The court has not provided public comment on the incident.
Hmm.
So stupid. Say stupid. Oh my God. When I first read this, I was dying. Like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
Oh man, then he had to go to prison for driving to his doctor's office.
Mhm.
Oh man, at least like if you're going to do that,
Yeah.
what you do is you drive, you park, you head over to the passenger side. And if they question it, you say, "Oh, my girlfriend was driving or whatever, and she's doing something. I'm in the passenger side." Like,
Well,
I'm
they
not
can.
saying do that, but I'm just saying if you're
Yeah.
going to
Well,
do that, do that.
can they ask? Can they say, can we see your your significant other or your
Well, she's not in the car.
yeah.
She's out there doing something. Like, they're not going to waste more time to find her.
Well,
Because again, what you have to understand with the court process is
yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
on a docket. So there's other cases that also have to be heard
Yes.
that same day.
Oh, no. Oh, I know about that. Yeah, no, I
Right.
know.
So they're not going to waste court's time to go
Yeah.
find her in the grocery store or something. Right.
Send the CIA. So we're sending the CIA to look for your girlfriend, see if
No
you
one's
tell me
using
a lie.
CIA's time to go find his girlfriend due to a suspended
Or
license charge.
FBI.
The
FBI just
FBI is not doing that either. FBI is busy.
we take this seriously.
No, because they're going to take your word for it, right? But if you're going to do it, like, you have to be
Yeah,
smart about it. Or
yeah.
just don't book your doctor's office appointment at the same time as court. Like,
Mm,
that's also an option. Uh,
mm.
Stay stupid. Anyways, next topic and our last topic.
Yeah.
So, the Ministry of Education has updated the Ontario Secondary School Diploma requirements, at least again, like I said, here in Ontario.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the changes include, and we're going to go through all of them so everyone's aware. So,
I think I heard one of them, but go ahead.
okay,
What's the change? Yeah.
grade 9 EQAO assessment results will represent at least 10% of a student's final course mark, which I always thought that was the case, honestly, but I guess not.
Mm,
A new financial literacy education graduation requirement to be completed in grade 10 as of September 2025.
that should be added years. That's way behind.
I agree. Reduction in the number of compulsory courses, where students will now be required to earn 17 compulsory courses and 13 optional courses to obtain their OSSD.
Mm.
Mandatory credit for
Is that the literacy test? Is that the English literacy test? That was mandatory on your diploma?
of the literacy
Yeah.
thing here.
Yeah.
It says it has to be completed in grade 10, but wasn't that always the case?
Yeah, that was always the case. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we did that in grade 10.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
Mandatory credit for grade 9 students from a list of STEM related courses. Not sure what that means. The Ministry of Education said the aim of the changes is to provide students more flexibility in their course credits and provide students with the necessary skills and knowledge to succeed in their chosen pathways. Students are still required to complete those 30 credits to graduate. The Ministry of Education is also engaging in consultations with families and caregivers, job creators, and educators to inform changes to help students learn foundational life skills and prepare for life beyond the classroom, which is, yeah, that should have been happening a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. When we were in school.
Yeah.
Or beyond, honestly, before that. Like, yeah.
I agree 100%, but I don't know. The
I don't-
whole guard of the education system didn't prepare
Oh,
the previous generations of students
I
for that. So, yeah.
So additional information and resources will be provided to school boards for guidance and career education. But if you want to know information, you can read the Ministry of Education announcement, which is, I'm sure you can probably find that on the Ministry of Education
Yeah.
website. So, yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Right. Okay. I have nothing to add to this episode. So basically that's it for this episode. So this ends episode 69 of the Next Tape Podcast. The Next Tape Podcast is available now on all podcast platforms. We also have a website called solo.to/Next Tape Podcast. And where else are we
We're,
at, Tanyka?
we're on Facebook and Instagram at Next Day Podcast and Twitter and TikTok at Next Day Pod.
Okay, we also have an email. You can contact us at mikeltanika@gmail.com. That's mikeltanika@gmail.com. So we talked about 3 straight topics from I'm trying to remember. From, is it the space?
Yeah,
The
we
space
talked
one?
about Jupiter,
Yeah.
largest moon, and
Mm,
Um, we talked about the dude and the license, and we talked about um, the updated graduation requirements for high school.
right. Okay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm Mikel, and
And I'm Tanika.
I hope I don't mess this up. So like
What?
uh
Oh, okay.
th- I think we're back on Thursday.
So that was actually, I set you up for failure. Rush it back on Wednesday because we're going to be doing our very first Netflix episode.
Oh,
So we're back on Wednesday.
okay, Wednesday. All right.
Yep.
So you know what? I'm gonna let you do those days.
I mean, we do it now.
And when like towards the end, I'm gonna be like, so when's the next day of the
Yeah, there you go.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.